regular rituals based on a belief in higher supernatural entities who created and continued to sustain the planet and surrounding cosmos, characterized ancient religious practices, which were indistinguishable from what is today called mythology. Hello and welcome back to our channel, Curious Media. For this list, let's have a look at what kind of mysterious beliefs people had in ancient history. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. That said, let's begin our discovery. Number 3. The Kachina Prophecy. The blue star Kachina is a mythical figure in Hopi lore who is expected to herald the dawn of a brand new era. It is the ninth and final sign before the end of the world and will emerge as a brilliant blue star in the night sky. Similar to the Book of Revelation's prophecy of the end of days, the Kachina Prophecy describes a time when the world would be destroyed. Prior to the European conquest of the Americas, the southwestern United States was home to many hopeful Native Americans. About 19,000 Hopi are still alive today, the vast majority of whom reside on the Hopi Reservation in Arizona. The Hopi has a remarkable set of beliefs, and despite the fact that their culture has evolved much over the previous few centuries, the original legends are still being passed down today. Scholar Frank Waters conducted significant research into Hopi legends and published many of his findings in the middle of the 20th century. The Hopis had faith in an awesome god they called Taiwa. Legend has it that 9 worlds were formed at the Big Bang. The gods get 2, while the rest of life gets 7. The first 2 of the 3 planets were inhabited and then destroyed because they had become corrupt and wicked. Once a world is destroyed, the remaining faithful Hopi are sent to a new world where they are given another chance. According to legend, the Hopi considered the one in which we live to be the 4th world, and they predicted that it too would eventually be destroyed by the darkness within humanity. The blue star Kachina is a portent of impending doom. The purifying day will begin when a brilliant blue star appears in the sky. Keep an eye out for this blue star in the sky. Number 2. Aliens in ancient Greece. Beginning in the 4th century BC, Greek thinkers mused the possibility of intelligent life beyond Earth. A guy named Anaximander, who lived between 610 and 546 BC, was one of the earliest true believers in extraterrestrials. He proposed a radical new theory that the Earth was suspended in nothing and floated in the gray expanse of space. For all he knew, he was much closer to the truth than he gave himself credit for, and his gut knowledge of the cosmos well surpassed anything science would discover for thousands of years. While Greek philosophers discussed more the possibility of what lurked out in the universe, they began to discuss alien creatures. Our planet is just one among many, according to Metrodorus of Lampassus, a famous philosopher. He compared the likelihood of discovering a single habitable world to that of discovering a single ear of wheat growing on an enormous flat. That is to say, he didn't think ours was the only possible planet in the universe. There must be other planets occupied by various tribes of men and other species of beasts, as even the Roman poet Lucretius noted. As we can see, the idea of aliens landing on Earth originated about 2,500 years ago. The more we discover about the cosmos, the more questions we have. Before we reveal our top pick, make sure you give the video a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. That said, let's continue. Number 1. The Origin of Fairies. A long time ago, the concept of fairies was considerably different from what it is today. Ancestral worships were extremely widespread in the Neolithic period, which ended in Western Europe only 4,400 years ago. Celtic and Germanic peoples commonly used large mounds of earth for the burial of their illustrious forefathers, chieftains, heroes, and great warriors. Some researchers think that the origins of most European deities may be traced back to the Neolithic period and simple campfire tales about courageous warriors. Then, as time passed and stories were recounted and retold, these heroes became gods, demigods, and legends. After a certain point in time, most people stopped caring about the remains buried in these mounds. After so many years had passed, no one could remember what it was that had been buried. Therefore, elves and fairies, the supposed lingering souls of the mounds, began to be the subject of legend. In contrast to popular belief, fairies were not ethereal beings that could wave wands at will, but rather the spirits of the forgotten dead. There was no clear-cut demarcation between ghosts, fairies, and elves in the olden days. Relatives who had passed on were described in various ways, but they were all really shadowy spirits. Also, traditionalists used to think that the fairy realm was woven into the very fabric of our own planet. Ancient people's fascinating beliefs ought to be discussed. Only they could know for sure if what they believed was real or not. We wish we had a better grasp of the values held by our ancestors. Don't you think? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. We will see you soon in our next video. Bye.